G'day guys and welcome to the Centre Bounce, where today we will be reacting to the market. What are people doing on the ownership front? Stay tuned. Jez, Big J, here we are, end of week 1 of Supercoach, and we're looking to see what people are doing this early time frame, I guess.
Yeah, it's crazy to think like we've been playing since the end of December, middle of December, end of December, but it's really the first week for everyone else. As you say, there's probably some people who might start up their teams a week before the season starts, and then all your other people who are probably middle of February, end of January type thing. So today's episode, yeah, just kind of seeing what early trends and things are like. I'm excited to see if there's any, sneaky players we haven't really thought about.
Correct. We haven't had a look at it. I promise. It's all set up, but we haven't looked. This is all live reactions. Let's go. We make a start in defense by ownership. Is it any surprise that the top dog is Zach Williams?
Mate, there's always these type of players who end up being kind of the most owned, right? Everyone wants value. Everyone wants to get in those players that potentially can make, your 150, 200K very easily. Zach Williams could be like that. And I can definitely see why he's, the most highest owned defender at the moment. And he's cheap.
Narrowly ahead of Nick.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? Like Nick Dacos, so many people not starting him, at least from what we've seen in the community. For him to actually be 61% owned, it's bonkers.
This percentage has actually gone up a little bit. I'm pretty sure at one point it was around 52%, and now it's up to 61%. So we're going to be doing this on a weekly basis, I think, every Sunday moving in, just so that we can keep a track and see which direction most players are leaning. And it seems to be now at the end of this first week that more people are leaning towards starting Nick Dacos than fading him. So that's an interesting bit of information.
Starting Nick Dacos versus a couple of other very, very sought after, highly owned options. You move down this list a little bit. You kind of generally have your normal rookies, right? Everyone picks the rookies at least to start with, the placeholders and stuff. So we don't need to worry too much about those. But James Sicily, 40% owned. And then Hayden Young, 38% owned. I don't think people went and watched our video, Joe, and we can go and see and be like, cool, go and pick Hayden Young because he's that good. 38% owned is a travesty at the moment.
Yeah, I did a spotlight video and I felt like a car salesman with how gushing I was. Pick him up, latest model, very nice, brand new, straight from Germany. You're gonna make a loving out of it. Like I was just absolutely selling Hayden Young to anyone who had ears and eyes. So head on over to that spotlight video if you haven't seen it. Sicily at 40%, 20% less than Dacos. I find that really interesting, but at the same time, if there's all this news about Carl Amon and Josh Weddle playing off halfback, it is undoubtedly going to eat into Sicily's scoring, you would imagine. So I can sort of understand why.
Sicily doesn't have the early buy, which is scaring a lot of people off Nick Dacos. So I know for myself, that's kind of the opposite. I'm like, cool, I'll pick up Sicily. I know he's scoring. And then I kind of know a little bit what his role is. Maybe there's some confusion, but no early buy. So, yeah, moving down the list, Toby Pink, another rookie, and then Tom Stewart, 28%. So you've basically got three guys that are 600K plus, Hayden Young, and then Kadeem Coleman is the next one. So people really do not value guys kind of in that 500K range this year.
No, it doesn't look like it until you finally get down to Wes Sinclair. There he is at number 13 off the mark of 15%.
It's not much.
Sheasel's at 12. No, not really. Jordan Ridley still getting some love at 8%. Wait, where's Dan Houston? There's no love for Dan Houston. There's even some mid prices here.
4%.
Winhager. Oh my God, 4%. There you go. I mean, Josh, he's got the same number. Even Ari Showmaker. Oh, this is really interesting to see. I know there's a bunch of people out there who genuinely believe that Dan Houston's going to be top 6 in the top 8 in the back line. Watch our power rankings video to find out where Dan Houston lands.
Yeah, and then you've got Himmelberg 3%, Luke Ryan 3%, and then you kind of Lockie Whitfield 2%. So I don't know if people kind of don't have an idea, or they do, or just kind of picking with numbers at the moment and not really looking at preseason form.
I find it amazing that Nick Cox is at 2%, Luke Ryan's at 3%.
There you go.
I'll find that
There you
amazing.
go,
Like,
Joe. There you
like,
go.
all right, that's really interesting. Coming across
Uh,
now to the midfield.
Yep. There's no surprise that the number 1 draft pick is 75%. There's no surprise again that the number 2 draft pick is 63%. So most people, I'm surprised no one has Colby McKercher though. Like, use 37% of people. Have you not picked him for a reason? Like, he's going to play the best role in the AFL. He's basically Zach Merritt improved 2.0. And
Oi, oi,
yeah,
oi. Calm down.
yeah,
Improved. He hasn't
improved.
played a single game of AFL yet.
Doesn't
Calm,
matter.
calm the
Doesn't
fuck.
matter, Joe. Doesn't matter. Yeah, definitely those two as rookies get picked the same. Nick Dacos, we've kind of seen. The first it's really surprising. The first non-rookie that's not also available in the defense is Jack McRae at 52%. So, like, the midfield is really, really divided into what people are picking, right? We've got Jack McRae. The next one that's really viable is Sam Flanders. So you'd assume most people are picking those in the forward line. The highest highest midfield eligible player is Sam Walsh. So almost everybody has
Wow.
different players in their midfield. There's no like, cool, everyone's picking Bont. Like, Sam Walsh 35, Zach Butters 31, the Bont at 30%. It's bonkers at the moment. People just like there's no consolidation. There's no kind of general. This guy's the best player in this position yet.
Wow, that's actually really interesting to see that we have to go down 13 places before
Yep.
we get to the first genuine midfield primo for Sam Walsh, who's got the early buy. I understand he presents a lot of value. 35% going stuff the buy. His value is too much, and I completely agree. I completely understand where they're coming from. Zach Butters at 31%. Some people might think that he's a flash in the pan. I know our good friend Shaq reckons that he was a one-hit wonder last year. So I'm looking forward to seeing Zach Butters make him cry this year, which is pretty cool. Bonds Pally at 30%. It is a massive price point to pay. 70% looking to get him in a bit cheaper. Took Miller, keep a close eye on him. Another early buyer player. Tom Green, early buyer player. Petrarca, early buy. Goulden, early buy.
24% of people have Nat 5 in their team. More people have Nat 5, have more Nat 5s at the moment than Green, Petrarca, Errol Goulden, Jordan Dawson, and LDU. More Nat 5s than people. What are you guys doing?
Well, they're clearly watching Jackson Davey. Good shout out to JD, who was on the channel here the other day to talk about the Bombers. Head on over to that. Absolutely killing it with all your feedback and your responses. Let us know if you want to see more of that sort of content. I'd be very happy to talk Essendon all day, every day. But this is a really interesting lineup. Taylor Adams ahead of Jack Steele at 12%, which is not too bad. Andy Brayshaw, I thought it's a good value. Only 10% for Andy Brayshaw. Same thing with Sarong. Same thing with Laird. Okay, Laird's pretty potty. That's not bad. Only in 10%. Cam Guthrie. Oh no, I've been trying to keep people away from him, but the Scott father's saying get on him. So I think it's a tug of war. If we can get it to under 10%, I'll take that as a win.
More people have Cam Guthrie than Lockie Neal.
Connor Rose 7.
Going to be a bit of a rush here.
Crouch is an interesting one, only in 6% of sides. I think people are keeping a close eye on whether or not he can cement that spot in the midfield mix. John Newcomb at 5%, so not everyone is. It's a loud minority who's very much on the John Newcomb trade.
Especially with there's a few midfielders there. I think as the preseason games will start to heat up, things like that, middle of February, heading into March, you're definitely going to see a lot higher numbers with some people than other people. At the moment, Joe, it's a bit bonkers.
Crazy. Ruckline,
2% of people have Ashcroft.
They're bots. Those are bots. Gaundy seems to be the fashion with Fimbar at R3.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, if they're playing right, we're desperate for a good playing R3. We don't know exactly what Jordan Sweet, what Sam Naismith with a few of these other players are doing. It kind of makes sense at the moment. As we said in our Ruck Power Rankings video, Grundy and Gawn do offer the most value, even if they don't end up scoring the best. So something to kind of consider there. People are spending $1 million for their ruck line, which they haven't done for a while.
Correct. English down to number 8, 9%. That price point is a lot. Same thing with Marshall. Again, there's just not that much value in those positions. Tristan Sherry, I think, might have had more before his face injury.
Yep.
So some people are still believers that he can come back in time for round one and perform really well.
Yeah. Hopefully, you guys can't hear my printer going off in the background, but that's all right. That's not me.
It's all right.
Heading into the forward line, it's a bit of an interesting one. Harley Reid, same again. Rookie, same
He
again.
should be higher. Why only 75?
Probably
He should be 100%.
He probably should be. Maybe like the autofill teams haven't selected him. Darcy Wilson, another rookie that we haven't seen as much of. Next player who's really available, Jack Billings, I think, is at 23%. So now you start to kick in the mid-pricer guys. Yeah, there's not that many players available, Joe.
Coming at 17. It just, you get that
no one likes the forward line, man. No one likes the forward line this year.
Nah, I mean, even Flanders at 36%, probably because of that early buy. Only just about a third of people have Flanders. Could be an interesting pod, but then again, even if he pops off in round 0, people can trade him in before round 1, which is not an issue. Zane Dersma, I think, is too highly owned, playing as a forward for North Melbourne. I think that's probably. I think there's better use of money.
Because he's an early draft pick,
maybe. Finn McRae definitely getting a lot of love recently with a bunch of different reporters really impressed with how he's going. So again, only time will tell if he actually plays or not. Nick Watson, 28%. That's too much for a small forward, I think. Again,
but Machito Owens, I'm looking down the list. 2% for Owens, 3% for Jai Cully. I'm trying to figure out where Big Charlie Bruno sits on the list.
Fisher, sub 10%. He could be a keeper. He could be a keeper for the year. I think people might have been scared off by the hamstring injury, so that will be interesting to see if he comes back. Harms at 10% is another. I think on some Discords, James Harms is a bit more popular, so he's only in 10% at the moment. But yeah, Cooper Simpson, I imagine, should get a bump up. I think he's performing really well in the preseason. I imagine there should be a little bit of a bump for a playing rookie at 117K on the bench. I expect his percentage to go up.
Big Orazio Fantasia on 3%. So there must be some Carlton fans that kind of know a little bit more about the player than us at the moment.
I think Jai Cully at 3% is an interesting one. He's playing in Match Sim now in preseason. So if he plays, I think for his price point, is definitely value. I guess it just depends on how people are structuring their forward line. If they're going more mid-pricer than having more rookies on there, I anticipate Jai Cully could actually match a bunch of mid-prices. So I keep a close eye on Jai Cully, guys.
An interesting one down at number 124 at 0%, which I find actually very interesting, is that Mabiel Chol. So 273K. Not many people will play him, but he looks to be basically playing every game at Hawthorn. So, a couple of 60s, a couple of 70s. This guy could make you 100K easy for, basically pod ownership at the moment.
And with that, guys, that is our first live reaction to what the ownership percentage is like. Here we are at the end of week 1 of Supercoach.
As Joe says, we're going to revisit this probably every week or so, every couple of weeks, just to see what teams are doing, what you guys are doing, and give our opinions on what's happening.
Yeah, because if we can understand what the competition are doing and which way they're leaning, we can sort of understand the method behind their madness or the reasoning behind what they're doing. And we can sort of try and see if we can one-up them or counter them and analyze that sort of strategy, because ultimately you don't have to do perfectly. You just have to do better than everyone else.
Yeah. And the good thing is as well, by analyzing these player ownership, sometimes that we can pick up on a player that maybe has kind of gone under the radar a little bit, like, why is this guy getting picked so much? Why isn't he in our teams? Works really well for those rookie selections because you can't know everybody.
Correct. And we're not saying just predicate your entire team building on what other people are doing. You have to do your own research and you have to make the best team that you can make. That's not the purpose of this exercise. It's really just us scoping out what the competition are doing and comparing it to what we're doing. So guys, back yourselves, do your own research, come back to the content creators that you know and trust, because we're all in it together and we all want, as we've said in multiple videos before, we would love it if one of us here in the Centre Bounce community wins the whole thing.
Yeah, 100%. Remember, guys, we've got our Supercoach group happening as well, our Supercoach League. where you guys can win some amazing prizes. I'll put the details for those in the description below.
And make sure you give us a like, a subscription to greatly help the channel, as well as hitting that notification bell to not miss out on any of these updates that are coming your way, because we are going balls to the wall. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but I just did. So yeah, forgive me if that was wrong.
I don't think YouTube will care too much. But as Joe says, video every day, video every couple of days. Let us know in the comments as well if there's something that we haven't touched on that you're looking at. You're looking at the moment that we can do some videos on.
Yeah, because here at the Centre Bounce, we do the hard works that you don't have to.
Bye for now.
Bye for now.